Everybody, and welcome to another episode on the Love Evolution. This is the channel where we bring you more love, more joy, and more prosperity. And today we have a fantastic guest, the lovely, gorgeous Sharron Duff. She is a God-centered conscious channeler. So, Sharron, welcome, and please tell us
Hi.
exactly what that means.
Okay, well, God-centered, meaning that everything in my life centers around God, my interpretation of that God energy. So I believe that we are all connected, that there is no separation, that God's wisdom flows through me, through all of us, and that's what keeps us connected. Um, I'm also, I have a very I wouldn't say an influence. I have a lot to do with the South African spiritualist community, which also keeps me God centered. And I like to bring God into this, not relating to religion, but the way I live my life. So I believe that if I remain God centered, I remain aligned to my higher self and what my purpose is. Um, Channeler basically just being able to channel spirits, which is the core of my work that I do in and out of the physical job that I have. But it is just basically in essence who I am.
Okay. And what is your process? Like, how do you start the channeling process?
Okay, well, I am essentially self-taught. I did sort of sit in a what we call a developmental circle many years ago, and that's when I realized that there is something greater than us. There is a whole world of spirit that is here to support us. By spirit, I mean like your loved ones in spirit, those who have crossed over. We have benevolent beings who support us throughout our lives. And if you follow this way of life, you already know about spirit guides, you know about angels, you know about your animals in spirit. And these are all beings of light who support us. So at that time, and I'm talking about 20 years ago now, I realized that I could see intuitively and I could hear intuitively and um I could connect. And that is what mediumship is. That's what channeling is all about. And that's when that journey started. So since then, I've kind of evolved a little bit from those beginning times because, you know, the way we work with spirit has also evolved and the way they work with us over time. It's, I think, a lot less structured because we've also, in our own way and through this spiritual evolution, we've also discovered that, like I say, there's no separation between ourselves and spirit. They're not out there. They are very much a part of us, which makes it so easy to connect with them. So my personal process now, because I'm practicing mediumship full time, is to do what I call um, getting into the power. So you might hear other mediums using this terminology as well. And what that means is basically bringing in a power source that is from your soul energy. Okay, so we are part of our soul energy. It resides within us. That's what gives us the spark. Okay, and obviously the physical body is what carries that. So the two go hand in hand. So when you step into the power, what you're doing is you're, first of all, you're saying, give me the power to be able to do this work authentically and with integrity, and give me the power to be able to hold the connection with spirits. Because if you don't follow some sort of practice, what sometimes happens is you and yourself drain. You become very tired very quickly, and
Okay.
you need to kind of excuse me. It's like waking up in the morning after having a bad night's sleep. You still need to do this work, so you need a power source. It's like you're plugging into an electrical charge that is holding the power. And as you go
Right.
along, you find yourself becoming uplifted by the love and support from spirit instead of drained. So what I do is I actually teach a class and I teach all of them to work the same, where we basically bring the energy into our awareness and we sit in a sort of a basic meditative state for a little while until we feel excuse me, that we are ready to really, really hold that connection and hold that charge. So that is my personal way of connecting. But I also have to say that, any practicing medium will tell you those words and thoughts and signs from spirit are actually always there. So
Hmm.
the only
Hmm.
difference is that when you're in the power, you're basically focused on that particular thing. So if I was going to do a crossover for you, for example, I'd have a little process beforehand where I would get into the power, find your loved ones who want to connect with you, see what they are all about, what is important that Cass needs to know today, what do you need to share, is there a message for everybody, let me know how you're feeling, tuning in, okay, and then going on with it. But during my course, day-to-day course, I got to go to the library or the shops or whatever, go for a walk somewhere, I can't always be holding the power. So
Yes.
I step out of it and I go about my day-to-day, but the switch is always on, so I'm always aware. So that's basically the difference. But I'd say that's probably the easiest way that I can describe my own personal ritual.
And do you find that over time it's just easier to make that switch?
I think it depends very much on how tired I am. I was actually talking about this the other day and saying how, you know, we aren't living different lives. You've got your day, I've got my day, we've got families and kids and animals and responsibilities. And sometimes we are just tired. Sometimes we've had a really busy week, for example. So I think what happens is you maybe get better at realizing that there might be a different way, that maybe today's not a good day to do a reading. So I might have
Okay.
to reschedule or
Right.
something along those lines. But I think the way you work with spirit, the more you trust and the more you surrender into this, if you feel that this is your calling or whatever your calling is, the more spirits step up and they're like, right, if you're disciplined, I'm disciplined. If you're focused, I'm focused. If you're there for me, I'm there for you. And so it goes on. But I think anyway, people, as we said before, are going to evolve into, into the best way for them to connect with spirits.
Do you think anybody can do this, or is it something that a gift that some people are born with and others not?
No, I believe this is part of who we are. Spirit want nothing more than to connect with us. And so many people, you just think like, when you lose a loved one, you look for the signs, whatever signs that they're going to give you, and you hold that link, and it goes straight into your heart center. So you see that butterfly, or you see that feather, or whatever is important. You hear that song, and that is your direct link with spirit. But you are channeling spirits. You're connected right there and then in that moment. I think there's maybe a bit of mystery around the channeling part of it, which is what a medium does when they are connected directly to spirit. And they're basically saying, look, I'm getting this, she's showing me this, she's making me feel like this. So that takes a bit of practice. But I think everybody has the potential. It's exactly like everybody has the potential to be intuitive, that gut feeling that you have. Everybody has that. It's just, what are you prepared to do about it?
Mm.
You know? So definitely, to answer your question, definitely.
And I think we just, we're living in some challenging times. I think the best description today is that we're living in the best of times and the worst of times.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, when we focus on the challenges and we're too busy focusing on the problems and we don't have the time, or we don't intentionally set the time to just be quiet and connect,
Mm,
because that
yeah.
is available for us as well.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. I think it's actually quite important, no matter what your belief system, to find a little bit of time in the morning and maybe at the end of your day, if you're not too tired, just to be standing in gratitude. Because just standing in gratitude opens the door for more abundance in your life. And the way you feel when you are in standing in gratitude? Are you humble about it? Are you excited? Are you in love with your life? That is going to open the door for more possibilities, whatever it is that you're looking for in your life. So yes, I
Beautiful.
know when you say, yeah, it's the best of times and the worst of times, but I think it's always been like that, Kaz. This is no different. We are just in this paradigm at the moment. And what people also forget, or maybe they're just not really aware of it at this time, is that all of us have many, many past lives of information and wisdom to draw on. So the minute you separate yourself from, like, say you become attached to an outcome of something. I have this thing that's happening in my life. I'm going into a relationship and I want him or her to be like this. And I see myself, I want to get married and I want to have the white picket fence and 2.5 kids and whatever people aspire to. And you attach so hard to that. What you're doing is, first of all, you're cutting off your karmic contracts with people who are actually going to help you on your journey. But you're also forgetting that every challenge that comes into your life is as a gift in a weird kind of way. And all the past life information that you have at your disposal when you go quiet is actually going to help you achieve your white picket fence
Right.
want that you have or need that you have in your
Oh,
life.
okay. That is very interesting now. So let's say, we talk a lot about relationships on this channel. So let's say
Yeah.
wanting a partner, right? They're
Mm.
at a point where they feel I'm ready for the partner. So how do they draw on the wisdom of past lives to make a decision today?
I think the first thing to do is to realize that you attract love through the person that you are. And I'm sure this has been discussed on your channel before.
Yes.
And the reason why it is so important is because anytime that you are manifesting for anything, relationship or otherwise, it is a feeling, because everything actually boils down to energy. So there are no empty spaces around us. Everything is filled with energy. So if you can imagine you're in a space where you've come out of a difficult relationship and let's just say if I'm looking for a relationship, I've come out of a difficult relationship, and right now I hate all men. Okay. Now
Yes.
that's my
Yes.
reality at this time. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, I'm working in extremes here, but I'm also lonely. But what I'm doing is I am carrying the energy imprint of the fact that I hate all men, because all men are dogs. They only hurt us. They only want us for our money. They use and abuse us and they kick us to the curb and whatever your reality is. Okay. So if you feel that and you haven't let it go because you want to sit in that space of hurt and neglect and abandonment, maybe not willingly, but it's part of you, who you are in that moment. Your words reflect this, your thoughts, maybe the TV that you watch, maybe the programs that you watch online, all of this directs you to this energy field that is, I don't want this because it might hurt me. But on the other hand, you do want it because you know what love feels like. So to shift that, first of all, is saying, you know what? That relationship happened. Okay. It happened. It is part of my journey. What can I get from it? How can I heal from it? How do I fall in love with myself again? Okay. So once I've done that, I can then start putting out the pulse that the universe will match. Are you okay there?
Yes. Yes.
You start putting out the pulse that the universe will match. And that then says to the universe, so she's ready for her next soul
Right.
contract. And that's where
Right.
your past lives come in. Because when your past lives come in, your soul contracts and karmic relationships from those past lives link up with you, but you've got to be in a space of receiving, because if you're not and you find your next person, I'm telling you now, they will be the same as what you just left behind.
Absolutely.
Man or woman, it makes no difference. It just works like that. And it's because the secret is you sent out this calling to the universe, who responds only in energy. Whatever you give it, it will take it full on, very seriously. you then start attracting the same thing in. So if you're coming from a space of, you know what, stuff happens, I understand that that relationship was going to teach me X, Y, and Z. Okay, maybe to come to terms with abandonment issues or rejection, or maybe to teach me that I can actually earn my own income. I'm not responsible for anyone else. I'm not here to mother somebody. I'm here to stand on my own 2 feet, independence, whatever. Okay, so you're bringing all of these things in, and I forgive that part of myself. Not about forgiving the person, it's forgiving myself for my interaction and understanding that every contract coming into your life is exactly that. It's just a temporary contract that has any potential to leave at any point.
Yes,
And we are
yes,
always
yes.
served.
Oh,
So that is
oh,
my understanding of it. And that's how your past lives can link in.
right, right. You know, it's like all of this is in a program that I teach. Um,
Okay.
I love the way you put it.
Love it. Mm.
And you know when we talk about souls, I listened to something very interesting on your Instagram channel, where you talk about baby souls and young souls and mature souls. Can you give us an overview of those stages of souls? Then we have a
Sure.
bit understanding of the people that we're interacting with right now.
Sure. Sure.
The
So
topic of
that actually comes.
narcissists, yeah, the topic this is something that is so huge right now. And
Mm,
like
mm,
almost every second person that I talk to has a relationship with somebody, either a parent or a partner or a sibling or somebody. Um,
mm.
when I watched your a video about the baby salt, I said, "Oh, that makes so much sense." So
Yes, yeah.
you of
No,
that.
definitely. So those 5 stages of the soul are called archetypes or soul roles, basically. And what it means is it's the level of understanding where your soul is at. So, despite the number of past lives a soul has journeyed through, their understanding through the experiences of each incarnation leads up to where they are in the soul's evolution, as in baby, young, mature, blah, blah. Okay. So the baby soul stage is really your very instinctive roles. So maybe people who are all about just surviving. I'm just in survival mode. I like to sort of give people a picture, say, of a tribal person in the middle of the
Yes.
Amazonian jungle. Okay, this is their entire world. They don't even know that something exists on the other edge of the forest. Right. That's the kind of baby soul energy. So people in the baby soul energy have not evolved past this feeling of instinct. I'm literally just living day to day. Okay. So a lot of fear in there. Then you're moving on to the baby, the young soul. So your young souls are like your serial killers, serial rapists, gang murderers, the guys who are really they are I want to use the don't want to use the word evil because I understand it's the soul's choice, but in our humanitarian language, they're the guys who are they deserve to be locked away kind of thing. They're the bad guys, right? So it's me, myself, I. It's all about me. But they still understand what love is. They just can't relate to it in a way that the rest of us would normally understand it. Okay. So from there, you've got the next soul age, which is all about being ambitious and driven and wanting to achieve. And that's where your narcissist energy comes in. It's not about the relationship, it's about what do I get out of this? Now, actually, at the moment, the highest percentage falls into this space. And it's the way of the world. It's the money, it's the status, it's the ego trips, it's climbing up the corporate ladder. And there's nothing wrong with any of this. It is just simply where somebody might be at this point in time, because every incarnation that we have, we hopefully evolve a little bit. Okay, the energy goes back up to the soul as an experience. The soul creates another incarnation based on what it's already learned along the way. So everybody in this space. And look, there's lots of love in this space. We're starting to learn and appreciate and give and receive, etc., etc. But it's very much a learning space, understanding that there is more to life, possibly, than just climbing the corporate ladder or just earning money or just having the biggest car or whatever. But it's more the money driven me. Look how important I am status stuff. Okay. So moving on into the mature stage, you get to more working on the relationship side of things. So the mature, where the young soul energy is more based on the ambition and the drive, the mature goes into relationships. So this is where you get people who are going maybe through a lot of marriages or a lot of relationships, and they've realized this is a narcissistic personality. This is not what I want for myself. Okay, whereas someone who's stuck in the soul age just before that, where it's about status and ambition, might stay in a relationship like that because they're too scared to move out of it. Maybe they're being supported financially, or maybe they've got kids with this person, and it's better the devil you know than you don't. So moving to the mature soul stage, you've kind of got, well, I actually want better for myself. I know that there's love out there for me. Okay, so as you evolve, so if let's just take the mature soul age, right? You've actually got different layers within that. So you might get somebody at the beginning of that mature soul age, which is all about relationships, coming from a place of status and ambition and ego. Okay, moving into the mature, where they're going to say, okay, I understand that there is more to this. I'm still hurting from that, but I'm healing as well. And then at the end of that sort of mature soul age, if you can imagine, there's different layers here. You're getting more into the, you know what, I'm actually falling in love with myself here. So the relationship becomes more about myself and my connection to the divine and my journey, all the rest of it. Old soul, I speak to people who say, something told me I'm an old soul. We are all old souls in a way because of the creation process. But the old soul dynamic is more into wisdom and teaching. Somebody like yourself, for example. So you have a different understanding and a different awareness of the way love works. You can see, okay, I'm sitting in this paradigm at the moment. It's not who I am. Let me shift. Okay. I see there's a potential to heal and grow people. I'm going to work with that where I become service focused. So the relationships are okay. Not to say we don't have our challenges, but the relationship status is easier to understand. You understand abundance, you understand connection, you understand creation. That is the old soul journey. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. I hope that makes
Oh, that
sense.
is beautiful. You know, what I love about that is as you were going through that, I could identify people in my life and who fits in.
Mm, yeah,
That
yeah.
is, I've never heard it explained quite like that, the progression. It just makes understanding people, I think, easier.
Yeah, I think so. And also,
Mhm.
what happens is if you know that's if you are in a narcissistic relationship, for example, I've had a narcissistic relationship, and I think it is part of your awareness of self love, your journey of self love, because it's incredibly difficult to see yourself when you are stuck in a relationship like that. And I'm going to say stuck because you actually can't see yourself out of it. You can't see yourself not that you can't survive outside of it, but it's like it sucks you in, it draws you in. They break you down. They create a vortex for you where you feel that you've just got to keep giving and giving and giving.
Yes.
So if I refer to my own relationship, I gave so much of myself until I suddenly, and it was almost like an epiphany case where I realized, hold on a second, this is not who I am. What am I doing? And that's the moment where you shift, I think, and you
Yes.
shift into the next
Yes.
soul
Yes.
stage. You start evolving, you start doing, and I think also it's important to remember that all of this is experience that you get to share with someone else down the line. So
Oh,
no
yes.
knowledge, information, lessons, etc., is ever wasted because somewhere along the line, someone's going to need your unique experience to help them. So anybody going through this journey in a narcissistic relationship can hopefully find themselves outside of it at some time and realize that no matter how hurtful and destructive that was, not only does it make them stronger today, but it helps to empower someone else when they tell their story.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think, you know, when I look at my past relationships and experiences with narcissists, it actually served as that awakening moment. Because at that
Mm.
moment, when you make the decision, this is not who I am, this is not the life I want to live,
Mm.
and you
Mm.
start realizing there is more, there is another way, there is a better way. And you start
Yeah.
those deeper questions of who am I? Why am I here? So I think, you know, in a way, the narcissist kind of like serves as that
Mm.
a trigger that awakens
Yes,
people in this lifetime to remember
absolutely.
who I
Mm.
am on a soul level so that I can now start living the rest of my life from
Yeah.
soul perspective of why I'm here and what I'm here to contribute. Yeah, so everything is happening for us, right?
Not to us, exactly. And
Yes,
I love that because I think it also it shows that there are lessons which are blessings in every situation,
yes,
good and bad. You know, and if that soul came in as a contract to serve you on that level, I can tell you that that soul who chose to be that narcissistic personality chose with care. Because when those contracts are created in the space of soul, they are discussed at length. This is what I need.
yes,
I'll put my hand up. I'll serve that. And I'll be the person who causes you so much pain, but I will be the catalyst for your change and your journey. So all of those very difficult contracts are often actually made in a space of love, even though here in human form we would forget that.
yes, yes. Is it possible that when we have that soul contract, right? So that soul decides I will come here and I will be the one that offers you the biggest challenges so that you wake up and but what happens after you've served that purpose, but this person that has chosen to be that narcissist continues with the hurt, with the gaslighting, with the insults, and all of that. Is there a possibility that when we come here and we've crossed over through that veil and we've forgotten that contract, that we get stuck in the role that we're playing and we forget that, okay, I've served a purpose, now I don't need to do this anymore?
Yeah, there's something that happens with any soul contract. I mean, I get people coming to me saying, can you cut the cord? They've heard about cord cutting. Can I cut the cord? I don't want this person in my life. But there is a reason why that contract is still in service. And there is obviously something within that process that you haven't quite figured out yet.
Yeah.
And maybe it is the strength to say, you know what? I'm releasing you with love, actually. I'm no longer angry. Okay. I love myself enough to forgive myself for the choices that I made, which led me to being in a relationship with you in the first place. Because all the bells and whistles and warning signs were there, but I couldn't help myself.
Yes.
Okay. So once you've gone through that, the contract will immediately be released on its own. You can't cut a contract cord. You
Right.
can't do it.
Okay.
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 But what you can do is you can, once you have managed to block the person, remove them from your life, whatever it is, and when they come back to you that they don't affect you, you know that that contract is healed. What you can do though, years and years later, if you find you're still getting triggered, because I mean, I still get triggered by that. My daughter and I were talking about it this morning, and how memories resurface and other guilt things come in, or anger or frustration or whatever it might be that you get triggered in that moment. You know that there's still an emotional cord that links you back to that experience, not the contract or the person specifically, but how you felt. That you can cut. But as far as healing through that journey, it is literally you finding your own strength and your own path. And this is also where past lives come in a little bit, I think, because if you have had a past life with this person, which 99% of the time you would have, that's why you were attracted to them, and that's why you stayed with them, because that's a karmic contract. That's some stuff that's lingering in your energetic field that you've got to work through. So when you go back, and this is where like a past life practitioner or a hypnosis therapist can really be helpful, because they will identify what the theme is. So if the theme is learning forgiveness, for example, and this is not just forgiveness between you and that person, it's forgiveness generally, okay? And forgiving yourself at the same time, like I said just now. Once you realize, hold on, that's what this contract is about. It's about forgiveness. Well, let me start with forgiving myself. Let me start with loving who I am, etc., 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 and starting to let go of all the things that I've been holding on to. That then starts to heal that contract, which means you start to see that person with different eyes. So no matter what they're throwing at you, you see the wounded child in that person. You see their aggressive nature or their unkind words or their gaslighting or their bad behavior, whatever it is. And you also see your role in that. What am I giving to this? What energy am I giving to this? How do I start to pull back a little bit and take control? And that's where the whole kind of thing comes together. But I think it's really just you understanding that there's more to this relationship than just the relationship. There's so much for you to gain in this. But you might only see it later. You might only see it later, like I did.
Yes. I think same with me. When I look at it, I saw so much more, learned so much more afterwards, because I think in there the emotions cloud the reasoning and you can't really make sense of it. But when you're out,
Yeah.
and then on an emotional level, if you can start doing that healing work, then you get more clarity, and then you can make better decisions, and you can set the
Yes,
boundaries and so on. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so another very interesting one that I want to talk to you about today is the topic of star seeds. We see,
Mm,
there's like thousands of videos out on YouTube right now,
yes.
star seeds,
Yeah.
messages
Yeah.
from star seeds, star families, all of that. So can you give us more information about star seeds and star families?
Okay. So your star family is the same as, I think Diana Cooper calls it, your monad. I think others like, I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. Anyway, beautiful channelers out there will call them the oversoul. Um, so basically, it is your family in the astral. So the astral, you can imagine the astral is a word for the spirit world. Okay, the home of the soul. And what happens is through your creation as a soul, you will be magnetically drawn towards souls who resonate with the same frequency and understanding and possible journey, although we've got free will in the astral as well as we've got free will here. So that then becomes your star family, soul family, oversoul, monad, whatever. It's just, these are all just human words. But what it essentially means is this group of souls, and you can have thousands of them in the same family, they evolve together. So they reincarnate together, they learn together, they heal together, they support each other. And I'm using human words now to give you an image. Okay, imagine you've got this massive family who have nothing but unconditional love for each other. So you've got your narcissist personality and you've got your empath, and the two come together. They have this tumultuous relationship that scars both of them in different ways, and it's a terrible time in the physical, but in spirit, when they've both crossed over, they come together, they heal, they forgive, they love, they support, and they go back to that space of unconditional love. Like I said just now, those contracts are in service. So that is your star or soul family. Now, within that, you are going to get some souls who have only incarnated into Earth. That's their choice. Then you get other souls who have gone, I also have an opportunity to learn over there. and over there and over there. So the other thing is for us to understand that our universe is one of many. So your star seeds are souls who have effectively served outside of this universe, in other planets, in other star systems, and have gained a tremendous amount of knowledge that is needed on the earth right now. So the last time I checked in with my guides, I was told that the split is about 45 to 65. So 65% of the world's population, is that right, maths wise? I can't even think now. But anyway, let's say just over half of the world's population have only inhabited Earth from the dawn of time. Okay, that's why the Earth is a space of three-dimensional reality, which is your young souls. Okay, so these are the guys that are chasing money, essentially. Okay.
Okay, so it's
and
65% of the young souls.
65% of the Earth's population at the moment have only inhabited an Earth.
Okay.
The other making up the
35,
100%.
yeah.
35, that's it. 35% are star seeds. Because the star seed has a look at Earth and says, this is just an experience. I want to just dip my toe in the water and I want to see. So you can tell, like an earth, I'm going to call them earthling for want of another word. Your earthlings have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives on Earth. And that's fine. Star seeds will have had less. Generally, the ones that I've worked with, I'd say less than 200. Just simply because other times, other lifetimes and incarnations, they have spread their awareness and consciousness elsewhere. So typical starseed traits, and I'm really generalizing here, are your intuitives, your empaths, your healers, your natural teachers, a lot of your, and this isn't everybody, obviously, your conscious channelers, okay, starseed. Like you go onto your social media channels and you see somebody's channeled a Palladian being, okay, that's a typical starseed thing. Also, I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff out on social media that hypes it up and romanticizes it like, oh, you love the moon and the stars and everything. I would say it's more about this innate need to serve and not actually understanding why is the world in such a when it is such a beautiful place. Why are people still hurting each other? Why is there war? So with a star seed, it's like, I don't get this. I don't get it. A lot of star seeds as well, I have found. And of course, as I say, I am just generalizing here. They feel actually like they could just step off the planet tomorrow. Because this is not home for me. I don't really, I love this place and I'm making the very most of it in my own way, whatever I can bring. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't really feel like I belong. I sometimes struggle to make friends. I struggle to get people to understand me. I can see things and hear things and understand things differently to the people around me, which can kind of make me feel a little isolated. There are some star seeds who have a tremendous amount of energy that they bring simply by anchoring light. So you get those star seeds as well, who are literally here doing whatever they do in their day, but wherever they go, those are the guys that are the most amazing listeners. You know, the mommy of the office kind of thing, or the daddy boss. You know what I'm saying? So these are people who just draw people to them in the most compassionate way, who do a lot of charity work and go into the deepest, darkest places that the rest of the people might say, that's not for me. I'll donate some money. I don't want to get involved otherwise. Okay. So that's basically what a star seed is.
And so would you be able to tell me if I am and what type of star seed?
Okay, so the way it works is like this. You have more than, just like you've lived in different countries throughout your Earth experience, you would also have lived on different planets. And because star seeds also are, a lot of them are shapeshifters, they don't relate to time, they can shift between planets and stellar systems as well. So your home is not Earth. And that's why the name starseed resonates with you. So as we were talking in our pre-talk before we actually started recording, I just quickly tuned in and I said, right, what is Cass's home planet? And it is a planet called Bahai. 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 It is outside of this universe. Now, something interesting that I just want to pop in here about star seeds is that star seeds have to get permission to come into this universe. It's like taking a passport and visiting Europe. You can't just walk through the passport control. And the reason they do that is, first of all, out of respect, okay, because the energy is so different, but they are coming to serve in the greatest way possible. So you are coming to inspire, which is exactly what you've done. And I think you've definitely stepped into your purpose on this channel. And even though it may not be an income stream, and this applies to anybody really, it might not be an income stream, it gives you a tremendous amount of joy. So wisdom and teacher comes with Bahai. Sensitive, intuitive, empath, healer. That's typical. So Bahai is a blue planet. Okay, so we call it a blue planet. So if you were to ever remote view Bahai, so you could do it in a meditation if you wanted to, and you just ask Spirit to bring you the feeling of Bahai. It is like you would imagine mystical Atlantis. Okay, there's a lot of water on this planet. The beings are very tall and almost like, I want to say like they go shloop. That's the only way I can explain it. Very tall. They don't have a lot of facial features because they're not human. We like to see facial features in our ETs, yes. But in actual fact, many of them are androgynous and many of them don't look anything like what we would ever imagine. They come as an energy. Okay, so if you were to look at most star seeds in their natural form, you will see them almost as translucent. So that, Cass, is your stars. That's where you started. That was the first planet that you inhabited where you gained the most of your, I want to say, DNA imprint. So any star seed that has like a hypnosis therapy for star seed, recovery, memory recovery, restoration, anything like that, it works on a DNA level. So if you have starseed healing and you want starseed activation, it starts from DNA because nothing is lost through your DNA. It is within who you are. It's your makeup. So all of your starseed energy will be in your DNA. So if you were ever to go for one of those alternate sort of healing sessions or awakening sessions, you would find more of your journey on Bahai and other planets that you've served on in this universe and outside of this universe. But Bahai would be your home.
Region. Okay.
You learned something new today.
Thank you so much for that. I'm going to go do my meditations and spend some time.
Do your meditation and use the energy of water behind you, because the water of the planet that will because a lot of souls come with a certain energy that they resonate with. Some it's fire, they've been mesmerized when they're looking at a flame. Some it's just air, they need to be out in the open, they need to breathe. And then those people, they will find a lot of, to calm themselves, they will use their breath. Okay, for somebody like you, it will be the energy of water flowing in the background. So get yourself a little water goodie in the background there when you're working, let it trickle. And then, of course, there's earth as well, people who need to feel the earth in their hands. So work with your elements and you will find yourself becoming closer and closer and more drawn in. And when you go into your meditation, even if you don't physically see anything, you just ask for that wisdom to drop into your awareness. It comes in the heart center and you will just know what the next step is for you, how to help people, how to heal people through their relationships on this channel, etc., etc. That wisdom comes with you because you've chosen to bring it into this incarnation. So it's nice when you step into your purpose like you're doing and you say, this is me, I'm surrendering into this, just show me. I'm open to this. Let me be an open channel. That's where my God consciousness talk comes from, but let me be an open channel. you
Yes.
know, and find who your cosmic guides are. So I work with a group of cosmic guides, cosmic slash ETs called Zera, and I've been working with Zera for a long, long time. And so if I ever channel cosmic energy, it's Zera. It's what they call themselves, and different sort of personalities within that. So that would be like your monad, the name of it.
Yes.
Um, but Zera is part of a bigger family because it's not only star seeds in my monad, there would be others as well. And some of them I've shared past lives within this incarnation that I've recognized as well. So it's quite interesting for you to go quiet, play your water in the background, and actually start to feel and tap into, and you will feel it because you'll suddenly get really emotional and you'll feel your heart center expand out, and you will go through your whole day looking at the world through rose colored glasses, that you only have love for everything, like your heart just wants to explode out of your chest. Then you know you're standing in alignment with that star seed energy. So I look forward to
Okay.
hearing
Oh,
how your
this is
experience went.
exciting times. And yes, I'm very
Yes.
drawn to water. I love waterfalls. I love being by,
Yeah,
I get my best ideas in the shower.
there you go. You see, there
Definitely
you
have the
go.
affinity to water. Sharon, this
Yeah.
has been absolutely amazing. You've given us some real pearls of wisdom here and an insight into the different realms. Um,
Mm.
so I want to end with the question I ask all my guests.
Okay.
If you were to take everything that you know and say, I'm going to leave one message, that if this message is repeated over and over again, it becomes my legacy for humanity, what would that one message for us be?
Sure. Um, let's see what Spirit says. To always remember that you are love first. No matter what your experience is on this earth, everything is temporary, and you will start with love and you will end with love, but you are always love first.
Love that message. I love
That's
that
it.
message. Yes. And I think if we remember that, especially in those challenging times, if we can just remember and tap into that frequency of love more and more.
Frequency of love, the frequency of
Yes.
love. Yeah. And we
Yeah.
don't always understand what's going on with other people. But when we remember that we are love first, it's we,
Yes.
I am love first. I just want to leave you with one last thing before we go off. Something that Spirit gave me a little while ago to get centered. And that is to you put your heart over your hand over your heart center like this, and then you say, I am the peace that I am. I am the truth that I am. I am the light that I am. I am the love that I am. And I am that I am. So when you have that little mantra in the mornings, it brings you into the most calm and peaceful space that the rest of your day just evolves. And you remember that you are love.
Yeah. And just as you said that, and I repeated the words to myself, I could feel myself becoming centered.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's a beautiful calming
Beautiful.
experience, and you say them
Yes.
like you mean them. Don't just rattle them off.
Yes, of course.
Say them like you mean it.
Of course, of course. Sharon, I want to say thank you so much for your time. We will leave your contact details and the links to your social media and things in the show notes. So if anybody wants to contact you, they can do so via those links. Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
for your time and your expertise, your wisdom, and the love with which you have delivered all of your messages today.
My pleasure. Stay centered and stay loved.